So let's talk about a guy who has somehow managed to make the entire internet and an entire country roll their eyes, shake their heads, and take matters into their own fists.
Yeah. Yo, please.
It's gotten so bad, this streamer even has a bounty on his head, and a whole country after him. And nope, it's not Jack Doherty this time, I'm talking about Johnny Somali. If you're not familiar with this infamous streamer, congratulations, you've been spared one of the cringiest internet personalities to date. But buckle up, because you're about to get a front row seat to the train wreck that is Johnny's tour of bad decisions. Johnny is like if you took a classic internet troll, pumped them full of delusions, and sent them off to irritate people around the world. His favorite activities are insulting locals, disrespecting culture, and basically making a case for why some people should have do not enter stamps on their passports. Johnny's mission seems to be single-handedly giving Americans a bad name abroad. And honestly, if there were an award for the most likely to be kicked out of every country, he'd be the reigning champion. But Korea was different. This wasn't some pack your bags and leave situation. No, Johnny's antics reached such new lows that South Korea decided to give him a one-way ticket to the legal system instead of the airport. He's now banned from leaving the country and facing a buffet of charges, from obstruction of business and assault to harassment, and just for a little extra spice, allegedly insulting South Korea's president. Yep, they even took his passport just to make sure he doesn't try play hopscotch across the border. So, what was the final straw that broke the camel's back? Well, Johnny's resume of disrespect has more bullet points than a business presentation. But here's a highlight reel. In one of his most notorious stunts, Johnny decided it would be a good idea to have what can only be described as an oil and dance party in front of the Statue of Peace, a Korean monument honoring the memory of countless women, many of them girls who suffered horrific abuse at the hands of the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II. That's right, Johnny thought, why not grab some baby oil, slap it on himself, and dance around like he's auditioning to be invited to one of Diddy's parties. And he didn't stop there. He even gave the statue a kiss on the lips for good measure. Classy.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Honestly, this just takes disrespectful to a whole new level. Koreans were furious about this, and rightfully so. People were so angry that this wasn't just a case of being mad online. They were out in the streets actively trying to track him down.
So what are you gonna do about it? Try to find me. I dare you. You never will. So good fucking luck.
Bounties were placed on his whereabouts. That's right, they went full bounty hunter mode, practically saying, wanted, Johnny Somali for crimes against basic human decency. And honestly, you have to appreciate the passion. It's about time some of these so-called influencers face the fact that their actions have real consequences. But let's not skip over the other highlights of Johnny's tour. One day he walked into a store, turned the place into his personal nightclub, blasting music and treating the store like his own trash can. Imagine Jack Frost, but if Jack Frost was a full-grown man who decided to turn a convenience store into the setting for a toddler tantrum. An elderly lady working there politely asked him to stop with the music and the mess. And how did classy Johnny respond? By flipping out, yelling at her, throwing noodles around and insisting he wasn't drinking anything in the store, while littering every surface. He basically left the place looking like a ramen tornado had passed through. Just imagine the dedication it takes to make this simple act of eating noodles an actual crime scene. If you're thinking, this must be where he realized he was going too far. Ah, you sweet summer child. Johnny was only getting started. He returned to that same comfort woman statue, not once, but multiple times, each time amping up the disrespect. There was a point where he got visibly annoyed that the statue was closed off, like the country of South Korea had blocked it just to inconvenience him personally. No, that didn't happen. He even went on a live stream asking his viewers where he could find other statues to target, as if he was on some twisted treasure hunt.
Where the f*** is this one at?
He asked as if his goal was to become a one-man show of worldwide bad behavior. Now, after watching this guy, I'm sure some of you feel like punching him through your screen.
Out! I've said it many times. I don't give a I have no morals. I'm a sociopath. I don't give a
Well, the Korean public felt the same way, and understandably had enough. In a poetic twist of fate, a Korean passerby took matters into his own hands and delivered a swift smack to Johnny's face. And Johnny's reaction? Pure shock, as if he couldn't fathom why someone would be upset at a guy disrespecting their country's symbols and culture. But did he take this as a sign to stop? Of course not. Johnny and his buddies just started following the guy who smacked him, shouting empty threats from a safe distance. It was like watching a tiny dog yapping at a bear from across the yard, all bark and absolutely zero bite. Things escalated when a Korean ex-Special Forces member decided that enough was enough. This guy found Johnny and gave him a lesson on respect that no YouTube comment section could ever teach. This wasn't a gentle, please reconsider your actions. It was more of a hands-on re-education. And again, Johnny reacted like a deer caught in headlights, looking baffled that his actions had actual consequences. At this point, the Korean police had seen enough. Johnny was arrested, facing a whole buffet of charges, and even lost his beloved passport. Spoiler, the I'm American card doesn't work in every country. Now, I'm not American, but I'm sure my American viewers will let us know in the comments that they most definitely don't want to claim this guy.
You don't give a damn. Goddamn right, brother.
According to a Reddit post by a local, Johnny's charges include obstruction of business, assault, and sexual harassment. And these aren't the slap on the wrist kind of charges. He's staring down the barrel of a potential 10-year sentence. And if they decide to deport him to North Korea, as some suggest, well, let's just say that's the kind of VIP trip he probably didn't have in mind.
What do you mean by that?
If you think Johnny might have learnt his lesson from all of this, think again. He's out here playing the victim card as if he's some bold defender of freedom of speech. In his head, he's a brave hero pushing against the boundaries of social norms.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. If you want me to apologize and bow down on my knees and apologize, I refuse. I won't.
Reality check, Johnny. You're just an obnoxious tourist with a warped sense of invincibility and zero respect for others. And while Johnny's still in disbelief, the Korean public isn't exactly sitting back quietly. Some local YouTubers even set a $700 bounty on him, with a group of Korean streamers actually tracking him down. Can you imagine being such a nuisance that a whole squad of content creators teams up like a vigilante group to bring you down? Johnny's finally got the audience engagement he's been looking for, just not in the way he imagined. Right now, Johnny is essentially banned from leaving Korea. He's faced in a list of charges long enough to fill a novel, and he's been served more local justice than he can handle. The authorities are no longer letting him play tourist with no repercussions, and he's very likely on his way to spending some serious time behind bars. It's hard to feel sorry for someone so committed to being a disrespectful troll, especially when he's targeting symbols that mean so much to so many people. What's wild is that Johnny's entire shtick is about clout. This guy isn't out here for some grand mission. He's doing it all for the views, the clicks, and the virtual high fives from his followers. It's as if he's living in some alternate universe where he's the main character of a reality show that never ends. In his world, actions have no real consequences, the camera just cuts, and everything resets for the next scene. The problem is, the real world doesn't work that way, and Johnny's now learning the hard way that actions in real life tend to stick. So here he is, stuck in Korea, facing a future that probably doesn't involve any more trolling expeditions. Instead of views and fames, he's finally getting the consequences he's been dodging for so long. Picture him sitting in a cell, wondering where it all went wrong. Maybe even planning the next content idea if he thinks he'll have an audience left. But the truth is, the internet doesn't come with a get out of consequences free card. There are real limits to how much disrespect a person can dish out before it all comes crashing down. And Johnny is now living proof that no amount of freedom of speech can excuse such behavior.